Hello and welcome to this review of Barton Premium American Whiskey, a blend. Okay, well, I did a video for this a little while ago and it came out too long. I was like, oh, it's too long. I wanted to say so many things and I did say them, but even then I felt rushed. So I said, I'll just try to consolidate it. Here I am in the afternoon after a nap. But it's got kind of a nice label, gold with black and red trim and white. Kind of like the fancy design around the edges. I was looking at some old bottles from years and years ago, decades ago. They haven't really changed the label, and it's been on the market since, well, no earlier than, let's say, 1953. Because that's when Barton Distillery was established in Bardstown, Kentucky. And when I was on the tour last year at Barton 1792 Distillery, they said they didn't really know why it was called Barton. There was a buyout in the 1950s and the name was changed to Barton, but they said they didn't know why, which I found interesting. And they said they called it 1792 just because that was the year Kentucky became a state. So what connection does it have to the distillery being established in the 1800s? The name really has no connection to it, apparently. But, okay, so it's been on the market no longer than 65 years ago. Okay, now, it's very bright out here. There's a lot of glare, but at least it's not cloudy and dreary. It's mostly sunny. I notice it's darker than your typical American blended whiskey, right? Look at that. It's a lot more amber. Another thing I noticed, it doesn't say Kentucky whiskey. It says American whiskey, which is making me think, oh, Midwest Grain Products of Lawrenceville, Indiana. Yeah, it says bottled and blended and bottled by Barton Distilling of Bardstown, Kentucky and Los Angeles, California. No, but it doesn't say distilled. And I see a date, 95th day of 2017. Okay, makes sense. Bought it last year in Louisville, Kentucky. It was $5.99 a bottle, by the way. I keep saying Louisville. It's Frankfort, Kentucky. I barely stopped in Louisville. What else? There's no age statement on the bottle, which means it has to be aged at least 4 years. It's 80% grain neutral spirits to the corn distillate. Okay, so 80% of this is unaged corn whiskey, grain whiskey, corn distillate. Okay, colorless, odorless, tasteless. 20% is straight whiskey. Now, that's where the age statement comes into play with these type of things. Usually they'll say age 36 months. No age statement, which means it's a minimum of 4 years, 48 months. So that's interesting. They're probably, I'm figuring, using very old Barton straight bourbon, which is aged 4 years. Inexpensive Kentucky bourbon, so I'm assuming that. I don't know that, but it makes sense. Very old Barton straight whiskey. Barton Premium American Whiskey. Okay, so it's kind of standard in the aroma. Like I say, it's darker than normal, but there's a lot of vanilla, distinctive oak, definite oak, charred oak. Mainly what you would say an aroma commonly associated with whiskey, but it's not bad. Not offensive or off-putting in any way. Like we said, $5.99 a bottle. I have seen that price in Louisiana for McCormick American blended whiskey. Nowhere near me though, but I could get it if I felt like driving to Chalmette. Anyway, I've never seen a single Barton brand here, except for the Barton 1792 family. You know, the straight above premium bourbon whiskeys, straight bourbon whiskeys. Okay, the flavor. A lot of wood, and as I've determined, and I think a lot of people would agree, with these American blended whiskeys, they have flavor, but there's no depth of flavor. No depth. It's sort of like a hemisphere. 80% of it is just bulk grain whiskey. Then you've got this 20% rim or crust or rind or like an orange peel where the flavor exists. So you've got all this wood, charred oak wood, white oak, and the vanilla and the sweet whiskey, but it's all on the edges, and it's fine. And I'm sure that 99% of the people purchasing this product are purchasing it for what? Blending in mixed drinks, you know what I mean? Mixing whatever highball they want to mix. They're not buying it and doing videos and sipping it. Well, this is the first video for this blended whiskey in the world. So as a mixer, it's superb. As a contemplative, sitting outside in the sun, you know, smelling and tasting and contemplating the product, you know, it's not made for that. But it does okay. So I was chomping at the bit to try. It's been sitting in my cabinet for nearly a year, and I'm fine with it. It's got some Sazerac qualities, a little bit of rye, pepperiness, like the other things I described. And I noticed one more thing. The wood tends to shine out rather strong when you get these blended whiskeys. That the wood pushes through above that 80% ball of, you know, hemisphere of corn distillate. But yeah, it's fine. I mean, even if it would have been bad, I mean, I would have been out, what, $5.99? As it turns out, it's not bad. It's kind of good. And it wasn't much of a payout. And I would be very curious to put this into the taste challenges in weeks to come. Is it going to be a big winner? I don't know about that, but I don't think it's going to be a big loser. And if you ever see it, I would recommend it. If you look at it for what it is, okay? And I think people that would buy it would probably look at it for what it is. So thanks for watching this video production. I would recommend it, you know, with those reservations considered. And y'all come on down to pleasant, dry, sunny southeastern Louisiana.